think a woman has to understand that a pregnancy is not a disease. It's nothing abnormal. It's a natural process. Our body is made to be pregnant and to give birth. But as everything else in life, some people have a perfect file and a perfect everything. They don't have any complications, so it might be a lot easier for them, I mean medically. But for others, they have those complications. That's where we need to step in more and be more careful, and tests have to be run and stuff have to be followed a bit more. But for them, we have to be more careful. But at the end, it's two ladies who will carry their babies in the tummy and give birth. How? We will see, depending on the risk factors and everything, but it's the lack of information that creates that. Very often, a lady that's not prepared will panic. And then there's also all the stuff that you can read. So I like to say, they say to me, Laura, I saw this on Google. And I saw that on Google. And I'm like, I love Google, huh? But sometimes I'm like, can you stop your Googling thing? Because you can find anything you want in Google. And you can see that this flower is yellow, the same flower is green, and the same. And it's the same for deliveries. Loads of people will write their stories. When you ask a lady, I like to say this, like, so let's say I'm the midwife that day and I'm following a patient and she gives birth. And it could be that when you read my file, everything went well, right? Medically, everything was perfect. I walk out being like, okay, everything was fine. And this patient, when you ask her, how was your delivery? She will be like, it was horrible, blah, blah, blah. When that happened, I hope it never happens, but when it did, well, let's say it happened, first I feel as a midwife, because if the patient says this, I'll be like, Lorea, you did really a bad job today. And then we'll be like, we didn't communicate enough, something went wrong for us to happen like that. What we would see often could be that we had complication, but the patient was like, okay, it was not easy, let's say, but I'm fine and I feel okay, my baby's here, I'm all right. And then we're like, okay, the communication was there. And then you can have cases where medically it was really not cool at all, but the patient will say, it was great, everything was fine and my baby's here and I'm okay. So I think there's always a difference between what the patients say, because they are not lying, but they're telling you their stories. This is their feeling, this is their point of view. And we have our medical point of view. And when people will say their stories, very often, they will tell you what they understood and what they felt, but that could be different for everybody. So when people will read that, there's a lot of differences there between what really happened and what they told you happened. They are not lying. It's not a lie.
How they perceive the
Exactly. It's a perception of what happened. Is their feeling, is their stories, is their past also that plays a huge role into a delivery. Is how their pregnancy went, how their relationship is, how they are in their everyday life will play a huge role about what their delivery is going to be.